I moved to LA when I was 19 years old to follow my dreams. And for over a decade, my life was full of extreme highs and extreme lows. I had a lot of fun. Some really cool stuff happened, but overall, it was just full of chaos. And honestly, kind of sucked. And what's crazy is there were so many simple things that I could have done to make it much easier. Now, not doing those things cost me countless opportunities, overwhelming stress, and almost my life. So I compiled a list I'm calling 10 habits I wish I had started 10 years ago. I didn't put them in any particular order, but the last one is the most important. It's the simplest, not necessarily the easiest, but it has made the biggest difference in my life, and maybe it'll make a difference in your life too. Number 10, don't eat like shit. There's an overwhelming amount of ways to do this, and I am in no way qualified to tell you what to eat, but I am qualified to tell you that based on my personal experience, you will feel better if you don't eat like complete shit. I used to be a lot fatter. I lost like 50 or 60 pounds last year. I did this by putting some effort into making sure that I got a reasonable amount of fats, carbs, and proteins every day. And once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to do. Ground turkey, sweet potatoes, chopped up in the air fryer. I eat that like 4 times a week. We call it slop.
Slop.
Next habit. Assume you like things and go from there. Alternate title, don't be a hater. I think it's easy to look at something and have the urge to point out what is wrong with it. Maybe it's because social media has trained us to think that having a take is enough of a reason to broadcast something. Or maybe we want to point out what's wrong because it was evolutionarily beneficial for a caveman to be like, yo, hut's on fire. Or, yo, this animal smells like shit. Let's not eat it. Surprisingly, if you recognize this and approach everything from a place of, I'm going to assume I like this, you end up liking way more things. Don't miss out on the garden because you found a flaw in the gate. Don't miss out on the garden because you found a flaw in the gate. I made that up. I didn't read that somewhere. I made that up. Put that on Garm, dude. I'm not saying like everything. Just try to like everything. Like olives. Next habit. Number 7. I was looking at it. Number 8. Be on time. Be on time, be on time, be on time. There is no excuse to not be in a place at the time that you said you were going to be there. Personally, I've been late a few times, and some of those times had dire consequences. 12 years ago, I was hired to be in a TV pilot for a show on NBC called Up All Night. The cast was Christina Applegate, Will Arnett, Maya Rudolph, and me. So I had a bunch of auditions in front of a bunch of different executives over a period of a few weeks. And then one morning at like 10 a.m., I got a phone call from my manager telling me that I got the part. And I was like, sick, my life's going to totally change. And that the whole cast and Lorne Michaels were meeting at the Soho House in West Hollywood that afternoon. I assumed that it was like a cocktails get to know each other kind of thing. And I didn't want to look like an overeager dork and show up right at the beginning because I was the new guy. Like, what am I so excited to be on a freaking TV show? Yeah, right. So I decided that I'd show up late. Turns out it wasn't a drink situation. It was a table read. I walked into the first rehearsal for the biggest opportunity of my life an hour late. Christine Applegate was in her pajamas and very upset with me. It was a huge decline from there very quickly. My lines started getting cut. One day I sat down next to Lorne at lunch and like he didn't talk to me the whole time. It was like 30 minutes and he didn't say hi. And like you hear about Lorne Michaels being kind of weird and I thought I chalked it up to that, but like in hindsight it's because I was a disrespectful, unprofessional idiot and I was late. The show ended up getting picked up that summer, and the day that they announced it in the Hollywood Reporter, I was told that I wasn't going to be in it. And because of my NDA, I had to pretend that I was all summer and be like, happy when people were like, dude, congratulations. And I was like, oh, thank you. So, be on time. No, I am getting my shit together now. But it's like, what's done is done, dude. Like, I had a lot of opportunities when I was younger. Oh, I'm just going to Soho House to meet with Will Arnett and Lorne. I guess I'll be late. Idiot. All right, next habit, number 7. Do the little task now. Just do it. Pay the parking ticket right away. Venmo your friend for dinner. Respond to the email. Respond to the text. Do the easy thing right away, because most easy things can blow up into potentially insane headaches that were totally avoidable if you had just done the thing right away. A guy I used to work with called it allowing yourself to be crippled by the minutia. Try writing things down or making checklists, or you can Google this thing called the Theodoro technique, which is like this time management thing. All right, this next habit is one that I definitely wish that I developed 10 years ago. It's one of the most important ones on this freaking list. Buy dumb old base model European cars on Facebook Marketplace. Because now I look at old cars on the internet. 10 years ago I was looking at old cars on the internet, but 10 years ago I wish I would have bought them, because now they cost way more money. But it's not too late. You can still look at old cars on the internet. And while you're looking at old cars on the internet, you should take steps to protect your data with today's sponsor, Incogni. Do you get a lot of spam calls or texts like this? Hey, Kathy, I haven't seen you in a while. You want to get coffee? What? Well, those are all thanks to data brokers. Those are companies that scoop up your data and sell it to anybody willing to pay. Whether it's marketers, scammers, or worst case scenario, freaking stalkers. And it's not just your phone number that they have. Have you ever Googled yourself? If not, you should try it. You might find your entire life story on one of those people search websites. That's the work of data brokers. And if you're in the US, which I have data to see that over half of you are, then these kinds of sites are especially a problem, because they often create entire profiles for you where they combine all of your info with things like your property records, your political beliefs, your financial data, and all kinds of freaking stuff that you don't want other people knowing, that you might not even know. It's honestly freaking crazy. And while you could try and remove it yourself, it is an absolute nightmare. It takes hours, if not days, and they're just gonna repost it later. That's where Incogni comes in. Incogni is like your personal data bodyguard. I think you're gonna wanna delete that. It reaches out to those data brokers on your behalf and gets them to take your information down for good. I said, I think you're gonna wanna delete that. It's completely automated. You just sign up and then Incogni does all this stuff. They contact the brokers, they handle all of the back and forth, and they even keep your data off the market if it pops up again. So while you're chilling, not buying cars online, they're out there fighting for your privacy. I've been using Incogni and it's honestly off-putting to see how many places had my data. Protect yourself from things like identity theft, scam calls, or God forbid, even like a crazy road rage person who tracks you down from your license plate and then shows up at your house. I don't know, it could happen. So go to incogni.com/speed and use our code SPEED to get 60% off their annual plan. It's alarming and actually very worth it. So thanks to Incogni for sponsoring this video. And on the topic of cleaning up your data, number 5. Be clean. It ain't up for no kind of debate. Your life will be better if you aren't gross. You'll feel better, move more confidently, and be more popular if you put an effort into keeping yourself, your clothes, your car, and your home clean. When I was a kid, I was fat, and then when I was a young adult, I was really broke. So taking a shower and putting on a clean shirt was one of the only things that I had control over. It was an easy-ish way to look like I had my shit together, even when I didn't. And I stand by that. It's a good crutch and a great way to appear like you are doing well. If you're feeling off, take a shower. It might make you feel better. It definitely won't make you feel worse. unless you're Elphaba. Next habit, have my dad be alive. All right, next habit, read books. So I brought up reading books in another video, and I was pleasantly surprised at how many of you guys were stoked about the possibility of having a Speeed book club. Since there was such a positive response, we're gonna do it. I love that reading is free. You can do it anywhere. You can do it on the train. Don't do it while you're driving. It improves your memory, cognitive engagement, vocabulary. It reduces stress. And with all those positives, you almost forget that it's entertainment. It's fun. Oh, what should our first book be? Reading books on your own, super fun, chill, cool. Reading books with a bunch of bros, you're like, dude, what did you think when he jumped over that thing? Dude, when that guy came out of nowhere. Next habit, learn how stuff works, at least kind of. Learn how your car works. Learn how your body works. Learn how the toilet works. Learn how the bank works. Learn how to sew a button, cook rice, and wire a ceiling fan. Do your best to gain at least a base level of knowledge about as many things as you possibly can. There was a time in my youth when the only subjects I cared to learn about were very specifically related to maintaining and modifying old Volkswagens, or how to raise the stakes of a joke in order to make the second beat of a comedy sketch hit harder than the first beat. I don't regret learning about cars and comedy, but what I do regret is neglecting to learn about almost anything else. Being a generally curious person and taking the first couple steps to learn a bit about everything will improve every aspect of your life. You'll be better at your job if you know how your coworkers do their job. Number 2, move around every day. Recently, I have been telling my friends that my biggest regret in life is that I didn't start running when I was 24 years old. I've been running on a regular basis for a little over a year now, and it has had such a positive impact on the way that I feel and think and act that I honestly believe that if I would have done it in my early 20s, I would have been in such a better place that the other things I regret might not have even happened. Any amount of time at any pace will have a positive impact on how you feel and your overall health.
Know that no one gives a shit how you fare compared to everybody else. All that really matters is how did you do compared to what you wanted to do.
I've been to a bunch of doctors, and as far as I can tell, our bodies, are full of a bunch of tubes. And all of those tubes have different kinds of goop in them. And a lot of taking care of yourself comes down to getting that goop moving around. Poop more, hydrate, get your blood flowing. Your body's just like a car. If you park a car full of gas for too long, that gas is going to turn into varnish and clog up the lines. You got to clear the lines for the car to run. You can take this as far as you want, but don't get overwhelmed. Just get started. So I think there's probably a lot of people watching this video that are like, hey, idiot, I do all those things. I didn't have to figure it out when I was in my 30s that you should be on time. Well, good for you. I'm happy. I'm happy for you. Seems like you got it all figured out. But maybe you have a friend that's like me and might need a checklist of stuff to just kind of get to normal. So send this to them and tell them to buy a shirt. Finally, the number one habit. This final habit is a very simple thing, but not an easy thing. This helped me combat a lot of the bad habits that I had my entire life. That is, be okay being uncomfortable. This is the single biggest realization that has absolutely altered the way that I think and live. I am very bad at being uncomfortable. And if I don't like the way that I feel, I want to change it as fast as I possibly can. For the past few years, I've been really trying to be aware of all of those tendencies because I decided that what I really care about is long-term awesome. So I don't drink, I don't do any drugs, I try to be more aware of how I interact with people. I try not to spend a bunch of money impulsively because I realize all of those things are just to get my brain to release some chemicals that make me feel something. This year has been very f***ing wild, leaving Donut and starting this channel, and I can't imagine getting through it if I was still relying on my old tools to regulate myself and to affect how I feel. If you feel shitty and you do want to feel different, there's definitely positive things that you can do that will make you feel different and are healthy. I am shocked by how much better I feel if I go for a run or even just a walk. But I think the biggest thing for me is understanding and accepting the fact that sometimes I'm just gonna feel kind of shitty. And sometimes there is nothing that I can do to change it right away. No amount of cigarettes or attention or Nerds gummy clusters are gonna make anything better in the long run. So I either look for the long-term solution or I just sit in it until it passes. And here's the thing, guys. It usually does. Go for a run. Thanks for watching this, guys, and kind of rocking with me. I've never made a video this personal, and I hope you don't think I'm a dork. Send this to someone who might need it. I wish that someone would have sent me stuff like this earlier. And then let me know in the comments what book we should read. I'm thinking something about a bunch of dudes with different personalities, but a shared goal, doing something hard and becoming brothers. I love you.